Hey people, a quick Gulf Coast weather update. We having a good bit of rain and little wind. It looks about like a 6-foot storm surge here. You can't get in the parking garage of the Hard Rock. And so the pier's probably about 2 foot under these pilings, you see. About a 6-foot surge. And it's not a big problem. We don't have basements here. We get a lot of water. It's nothing new. This is the Palace Casino, and they look to be a little lower than a lot of it. So I did a movie last night. I got it up early this morning, and I talked about this Clips Cusp. Clips Cusp, and it's a method of debasing money. And so I thought I'd look into that word cusp a little more and see where else it was used and how it was used like that. And it comes up to Clips Cusp several times. But I saw it here in Esther, and it's the to it new past cusp. And so past cusp is to move the money around. So I went to look at that. Ezra 3:7 here. And before I ever read it good, I looked on the side and it talked about the money to the Masons and the carpenters, and the food and drink and the oil to the Sidonians and Tyre. And you see this word for Tyre is the same word for Egypt, except it starts with a WL instead of a M. Will extrium, will sift out. And then it talk about the Joppa. And so it's talking about the Joppa and the Sidonians and the Masons and the money. And so I just Googled the ancient writings of Homer and the Sidonians, and I found this book. I didn't see a name on it. It's from 1735, but it appears to be from Thomas Black, because he had another one come up in 1736 and followed up on it a couple of times. I haven't looked into them yet. I might, to see if I can make out the Greek any better. It's hard to read. But it come up on this page around 269, 270. It talked about it. And so it says the book's about he's questioning the writings of Homer, because it appears that Homer didn't actually do all that traveling. From his readings of Homer, it sounds like Homer was talking to sailors that did a lot of traveling. It says that it looked like the only place that he had really explained well was up around Phoenicia and the ports around there. The way he explained it was like he was actually there and saw it. But everything else he talked about, it sounded like he was talking about stories he had heard. And so that's what this book is about. But it said here, the mean people of a trading nation naturally fall into tricking and low cozenage. And in this respect, the Phoenician peddlers were the Jews of antiquity, and bore such a character among them as the Jews do among us. Such exactly hath Homer painted them he calls them, and it's hard to make out that Greek, but he interprets this as the scrapers of money. And so scrapers of money, that could be another method of clipping coin, scraping some of the gold off of it, getting 5% off of 20 coins gives you one free coin. He calls them the scrapers of money from anything. And to explain how they did it, he subjoins that they were men with 1,000 small wiles. So this wiles, there's only one letter for V, W, and U. So you could read that as 1,000 small vials. There was, besides, a great intercourse between the two nations. You might have seen Joe Biden say that the other day. They were giving him a hard time about it. But yeah, that means shipping goods back and forth between the two nations. The Phoenician ships, our poet tells, frequently wintered among the Grecian islands. And so this book goes on to tell that, you know, the Grecians weren't all that witty as we've been led to believe, that all their knowledge actually come from the Phoenicians. And it says here, it is more remarkable as it comes from a man who lived between two great undiscovered lands. Ionia had the vast continent of Asia laying due east from it, a very small part of which was known to Homer himself, or to the Greeks long after his time. There is no mention made of Babylonia. So Homer didn't know of Babylonia? It says here, but there was too much said of these savages, and we have dwelt too long upon this black side of man. And what he's talking about there is he said that everything on the west side of Greece was barbarians, and has just been talking about that for a while. And it says, let us quit the men and consider some of the natural wonders of this fabulous coast. Your lordship knows that the city of Sidon is situated in the 33 degrees 20 minutes of latitude. So as you come in, you come through the gates of Gibraltar, the Pillars of Hercules here, and you pass in Spain, France, Italy, and Greece, Crete, and Cyrus. And over here on this side, this is where you find Israel. Alexandria was the early Babylon. And I believe Babylon is a word that means book, and Babylon was a library. This big Cairo gaze over here. And this would be Tyre here at this point. And that's at 3316. And Sidon here. This is at 3333. And down here around 3320. There's a strange looking port here. It's got no ships in it. And it's got no piers to tie boats up. It's just got a breakwater. Appears to be a private beach among these orchards. Look like it's a really rich part of town. Everybody's got nice orchards. They pack the workers up in this city here. But this is at 3320. You can see it down here. So they may have just been a little bit off. And this is probably the ancient port of Sidon here. But it would be on the same parallel. As Damascus and Babylon over here. They say it was here around Baghdad. Babylon was here somewhere around Iraq. And so you figured if he was a sailor, he knew about this. But I just want to show you that Babylon, Sidon, and Tyre's all here close together by Cyprus. I don't believe none of their interpretations, but this says VI, to make, the connected hands, with tinue, tinue is the purpose, with the purpose of, with tinue, and it has a hyphen, it's PSKSP. It reads backwards and forwards. PSKSP. To pass cusp. With the tinue, with the purpose of, to pass cusp. And the L means of the hex in form. The hex of the money. That's why they have all that secret meanings on your money that you don't understand. It's the hex. To make the tinue. In the purpose of pass cusp. Of hexen form. And then of the carpenters, we did this 2-3 days ago, remember the chores, the HRS is the chiros, the hands, will cherish from, will chores from. And from a call, vav connected, and M is from a call. And a call doesn't necessarily mean eating food, but it's anything that you cull for its purpose, for its use. Anything you're collecting, picking. And from a call, and from set, to semen of Sidon from, to semen from the Sidon. Will excreum, will sift out, will get out. Remember, that's the same word as Egypt. XRIM. It just starts with an M for Egypt. It's from the extrium, and this is will extrium. This is the act of doing. Of the bioxy. Oxy is a deterioration. Rust is an oxidized metal. Oxidized iron is rust. Of the bioxy. And then this reads backwards. The miser, M-I-Z-R, starts with A, so it reads backwards. And so the miser is the word on the Jewish compass for the east. And so that tells me that this writer of this was from Crete probably, and was talking about the misers coming from the east when they come from Sidonia. The miser men, and then an attack has me read this backwards and forwards. And so you have to remember, this is poetry. And so they twist these words around for several reasons, to rhyme and to show how smart they were. And that's what this tack is all about, how they can mix these words up. But it's the misermen and you, the new NBL, the nibble. Remember, the NB is the nab, to steal, and the nibble is to steal just a little bit. And the new nibble, NBLE, the new nibble, LB is love. You'll see it means heart throughout the Bible, LB. But, when you give me a heart, that's some love. The new nibble, love, lovin', LBN, lovin' when. We're loving it when the coin is new. It's full of weight, and we can nibble just a little bit. We're loving it because we can steal. And it's still talking about debasing money here. The new nibble, the loving when. And starts with A, it reads backwards. L, to bind, to direct knowledge, to bind power. And sometimes it means of power, and sometimes it's part of the next word of the power. And the MIM, we got a tack reads backwards and forwards, so it's MIM, which is the word they use for the oceans, the seas, the waters. The mim means waters, though, and waters doesn't mean water like we think, but water means not stationary. It means mobile. Of the powers of mobile, as seamen, powers to move. And then the Joppa, the Joppa Shriners, they're a club of the Masons, that we saw up here. It's all the same party, the Joppa. And it doesn't come up a lot in the Bible. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it means. But the I is to make, the P is to face, and the V is connected knowledge. And to make the face connected knowledge, to read the face. As a Christian, KRSIUN. The Joppa Christian curse, CURS or KURS. The curse. From like, and then it reads backwards and forwards. This SRPRS, surprise. From like, suppress. All them. So when I click on a word like that, it brings me to this, what they call the Hebrew. But if you put it on interlinear, it'll line this line out the other way here. And it gives me a different view. And it helps me put these words together sometime. And this does give me a lot of help. And so what it says is with tenue, with the purpose of, past cusp, of hex by from. He's trying to pass some hexed money. This is what Big George did. He's trying to pass a bad $20 bill. With tenue, past cusp, of hex by from, BYM, of hex by from. Will chores from to mackle and mist. To mackle. So to mackle is a double or a blurred impression caused by shifting paper or type. Is to mackle. It's an ancient word you'll find in the old dictionary. A smudge or blur. To harm the reputation of insult. A smudge or blur. with tinue to pass cusp of hex by from, will chores form to mackle and mist, to double stamp and blur, to semen of synonym. If you're going to do something illegal, you might use a pseudonym. And most of these places in the Bible, that's why they don't line up with the places that they say, because they're not places, they're words that they didn't want you to catch. But a pseudonym is writers will use a pseudonym to not give their real name. To semen of pseudonym will excreum, will extract from, will sift out of. Of the bioxy. Bioxy is to cut something in half to see what it's made of. And if you read that page on Wikipedia on debasing money, it'll talk about the bioxy, where they cut it in half and scrape good metal out and put steel in it. Of bioxy, the miser men. So it's talking about the miser men to do the bioxy, the misers from the east. The miser men, and then attack. New nibble the love win. New nibble the loving win. The loving the new coin. Of motion joppa. Of joppa is, looks like a clipped cusp. Clipped cusp. The sign of the joppas. Of knowledge, of motion, of mem, joppa, la mem, el, the motion joppa, according to the permissions from the Christian, the Chrissy when. They're like a christening a ship. They get permission to go and christen. The christen when curse from like suppress. Holy them. With tinue to pass cusp of hex by from. Will chores from to mackle and mist. And semen of pseudonym will exrium. Of the bioxy will excrete of the bioxy, to cut it in half and excrete the gold out. The miser men. The new nibble the loving wind. Of motions, of mem, of waters, make face connected knowledge. Of the waters to make face connected knowledge. They learned that they could drop the coin in the water and see how much the water level raised for its the space it took up, and then compare that to the weight and see what the coin was made of. You test your gold like that. You drop a chunk of gold, a strange shape, into the waters of the knowledge of waters of Joppa. So it seemed like the Joppa was the government man that christened to give you your stamp, to curse from like suppress. Holy them. The curse from like, and not the real thing, but from like suppress. Holy them. It's their job. Holy them. to suppress a from like, not the real thing, but a curse from like of a hex by from of bad money. And so it was the Joppa Shriner's job to inspect the money. So if you find one of these double stamped coins from the mint, it's worth a fortune. But if it happened from somebody trying to fake it, it's totally worthless. You know, if one of these slips up and ends up in your bank bag, it's worth a fortune. Anything that come from the mint that's got a defect is worth a fortune. They're supposed to try to get all of them out. But that's a mackle. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.